aged Omaha steaks. These are true
Morning, everybody.
steaks on a bun. Filet mignon, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, and even brisket burgers. Now is the time to experience the exclusive Burger Perfection Flight for just $79.99. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout to get an extra $20 off your order, plus free shipping. You'll get 4 of each pure ground burger, so you can sample all the steak on a bun greatness. These burgers are crafted for a juicier, more tender experience, making your mouth water with every single bite. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use promo code TREAT at checkout and get $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger obsession. Order may be required.
TikTok announced plans to take legal action to prevent new U.S. legislation that might result in its ban. President Biden signed a bill into law last week that sets the stage for banning the social media platform if its Chinese parent company doesn't sell it.
Rest assured, you're not going anywhere. You're confident that we will keep fighting for your rights in the rules. In fact, we have the Constitution on our side.
No.
Recent data indicates that
unfortunately,
increase.
no.
According to the Commerce Department, personal consumption expenditures price index, excluding food and energy, rose by 2.8% from March 2023 to March 2024. On a monthly basis, consumer spending increased by 0.8%. There's a big difference between 1 and 100. Corey Myers has the humorous details.
Mildred Kirschenbaum is going through her second childhood. She still enjoys traveling at the age of 100, but she often gets mistaken for an unaccompanied minor. Mildred is actually a former travel agent herself, so she understands how it happens. Every time she has to put in the year of her birth, she puts 23, as in 1923, but of course the system thinks it's 2023. She says it happens with several airlines, and the supervisor has to come to see her through security.
USA News, I'm Jen Gelber.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more. 800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. That's 800-471-7065.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVDF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530
Give him red mic.
Red mic and yellow mic. You gotta put your red mic, yellow mic up to you. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And good morning, everybody. This is Joey Driscoll. This is Middleboro in Review, and it's the final Sunday of the month of April. We are 4 months through 12 months of the final first half. Oh, what's going on here? Okay. You're not going to need the headphones, really.
No, we're not going to need the headphones.
Yeah, you're not going to need the headphones unless we get a phone call. So where was I? We are 4 months through the year of 12 months. So we're, I don't know what percentage that is. 30%, something like that.
You know what? I'm happy to see April go. It was rainy, cold. I don't know. What's with April? What's with April?
Yeah, we are
freezing.
Very rainy.
4 months through the penultimate year of the first half of the decade.
Penultimate?
The penultimate year. Well, not next year will be the last year. The first half of this 2020
That's
decade.
a fancy word. Where'd you find that? Where'd you buy that?
Penultimate means second to last.
I know.
It's just a fancy way of saying second to last.
Why don't you just say second to last?
Okay, this 2024 is the second to last year before the last year of the first half of the decade. That makes sense. Next year is 2025, and then we start the second half of the decade after that.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. So we have a full house today.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Like I said, I'm Joey Driscoll, joined by Don, as always. Good morning, Don. How are you?
Good morning. And we have a very special guest. We got Ed Fischero here. So,
hey, how's it going?
You know, he's actually my doctor. I got a doctor, you know, it's like a doctor, actually. You know, I got a doctor, I got this guy, I got that guy, you know what I mean? So, that's good, you know. Thank you for coming here at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I know it's rough.
No problem, no problem.
And I think we can talk about a lot of things today, but I think we can do sort of like a health show in a way, because, you know, we have a doctor, you know, we can ask doctor questions to the doctor. So, that's awesome.
All right. Well, let's start off with our weather here. We have quite a cool day today. It's going to warm up, though. 68 degrees today. It was supposed to be in the 70s. It's cooled off a little bit, and I think that's because, especially near the water, I think it's windier. I think we're going to have some wind today. As to why it's going to be cooler than what was to be expected. But 68 degrees today, still very, very nice. No rain in the forecast today, so that's good. 71 tomorrow, no rain in the forecast again, which is beautiful. And the days over the next couple of days are going to be warm at night as well. Well, you know, in the upper 40s, you know, it's not going to be in the low 30s like it was last week. So that's always a good thing as well. So we have that. Currently 46 degrees right now in Middleboro. In Taunton, it is 45 degrees, a high of 57 today with a low of 45, and mostly sunny skies. 74 in Taunton tomorrow. Driscoll, Texas, currently 77 degrees, rain in the forecast today, a high of 86. Tomorrow could get into the 90s with mostly sunny skies and a low of 75. Currently 77 degrees and cloudy, with Tuesday possibly being in the 90s as well. We're getting into that time where in Texas, you're going to start really feeling the heat in Texas. Driscoll, North Dakota, 36 degrees, high of 47 today with rain in the forecast. Almost 60 tomorrow, high of 59 tomorrow. Sunny skies, a low of 41 in Driscoll, North Dakota. Our Today in History, we have a couple Today in Histories I want to make sure I talk about. Don.
Yes.
It is a state's birthday today. Which one, though?
April?
Yeah. April 28th, 1788. Which one am I talking about?
Massachusetts?
No.
1788?
Starts with an M.
Maryland.
Maryland, yeah.
Yes.
Maryland becomes the 7th state to ratify the U.S.
Oh yeah, I think we did in 1787. Okay, I should know that.
1923, Wembley Stadium is opened, initially named Empire Stadium, and eventually renamed to Wembley. That's one of the biggest stadiums in Britain. You know, outside of maybe the O2 and some of the other stadiums there, but Wembley is probably the most iconic stadium.
Wembley is where they had Live Aid.
Yes.
I mean, not everyone remembers Live Aid. That was such a success. That was, I mean, that started everything as far as all the charity concerts for humanity stuff and stuff like that. I thought it was a great thing.
Didn't they have
Bob Gelford from Bob Gelford, I think his name was. He's the one who started all that.
They had not just in Wembley. Wouldn't they have
Philadelphia?
They had, yes.
Simultaneously.
Yes, they had a Live Aid set in Philadelphia.
I'll tell you a story about that. Phil Collins played drums for Led Zeppelin in Philadelphia, and then he got on a Concorde and flew to Wembley be with Genesis.
Nice.
So I mean, he was a busy boy that day.
Very.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
1945. Benito Mussolini and his mistress Clara Patrici are shot dead by Walter Adisio, a member of the Italian resistance movement. That's all I'll say about that. Go and look up that particular event.
Well, he made the trains run on time. That's what I heard.
Well, if you want to learn more about the particular event, go and search it up on Google. It's pretty brutal what happened to Benito Mussolini, and that's all I'll say.
But Gaddafi kind of had the same fate too.
Yes,
They got
yeah.
him in like
Yes, he
a
did.
drainage ditch.
Yes, he did. 1967, Vietnam War. Boxer Muhammad Ali refuses his induction into the United States Army and is subsequently stripped of his championship and his license. Pretty big thing. Big deal back then. Our birthdays today: 1950, Jay Leno, American comedian, talk show host, and producer. One of the last good late night talk show hosts.
Yeah, he
in my
is.
opinion.
Because you know what, he didn't get partisan.
No.
You know, I mean, he'd talk about the politicians, but it'd be like in an equal setting. You know, so it's just like he didn't have any. I don't know. No, what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't have any bad intent towards the people. You know what I mean? It was just comedy. It was having fun. I mean, I go back and I look at those roasts where they roast dog Rickles and stuff like that, and they're vicious to each other and they're vicious to everything. But it's a different tone. It's a different tone. I just feel a different tone than what is going on today as far as talking.
You're right. You're right.
You know,
I
it's
agree.
definitely a different tone. And I think Jay Leno was a class act.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean?
Boston guy
Yeah. Well, yeah.
from Andover, I believe.
Was he?
Well, you can look that up.
And he's got quite a car collection too.
Yeah. Let me just check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
he
yeah,
is from. Well, he was born in New Rochelle, but I'm assuming he did live in Massachusetts at one point or another.
Yeah, he got his start in Boston with the comedy clubs doing stand up before. And I'm not sure what the deal is, how Johnny Carson. But Johnny Carson, big deal in the 60s and 70s. So most of the 70s and 80s, he was a man.
Yeah.
But and it was just, it's funny too, because I when you started Middleboro Matters, right?
Yes.
You were filling in for Lauren and Jack. So I called him the Jay Leno of Middleboro Matters, because every once in a while you'd have to fill in for those guys until you eventually got the show. But that went on for about 2 years. A year and a half. You were the Jay Leno of Middleboro Matters. I always called you that, and I think that went by you a little bit, but you know. But
Another guy who's a really big deal in Glenn Hughes circles is Jimmy Barnes. That's his birthday today, 1956, April 28th, 1956. He was born. He's a Scottish-Australian singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He's worked with Glenn Hughes. If you want to check out some of his work with Glenn.
He's worked with members of Journey. He's worked with Joe Bonamassa. He's done Kevin Shirley, big producer, great producer. I think that they're doing their little circle. The Bonamassa, Glenn Hughes, Kevin Shirley.
Yeah, Kevin Shirley has produced all of the Black Country Communion albums, as far as I know. Right? I'm not 100% sure.
I think he did.
I think so. Yep. I think he has produced all of them. Jimmy Barnes showed up on a song on one of Glenn Hughes' solo records called "Music for the Divine." A song called "Monkey Man." Very, very good song. Check it out.
You know what's
definitely
different about that? It's like a bonus track because Glenn does it by himself.
There's two versions of it. Yeah.
Right, and then they show him in the studio putting his version in. And also, too, there was an album called Remachined. It was the tribute album to Machine Head, 2012. It was the 40th anniversary, and a bunch of players played on that. And Jimmy Barnes does the vocals for Lazy with Jimmy Barnes, Joe Bonamassa, and either Brad Delph or the other guitarist in Aerosmith. I'm not sure who's one of them.
Brad Delph. Yeah.
Not Brad Delph. No, he's from Boston.
Yeah.
one of the guitarists from Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I think it's a Brad. It's Brad something.
Brad.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I have to look that up.
Anybody knows, call us.
Our passings for today, we have 2021 Michael Collins, American astronaut, a very important astronaut in NASA's history. And Michael Collins was passed away on this day 3 years ago today. And that is your birthdays, passings, and today in history. We're going to take our first commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to start here our health hour, I guess. We're going to call it the health hour. We're going to talk mostly
the health segment.
We're going to talk about blood drives coming up. We have several blood drives here in the month of May coming up. We're getting towards the month of May. We have several blood drives coming up. We'll talk a little bit about the importance of that as well. So we'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review. I'm Joey Driscoll. You're listening to WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM, and we'll be right back.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about the head.
Don't worry about it. You should hit. You should.
No, that's fine.
You're very good. You're very good with the trivia stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
We usually been doing that at the end of the show, but it's always a big rush at the end.
Right.
Yeah. Because now we got time to talk and worry about.
It's good. I like the Driscoll, Texas Driscoll.
I didn't want to disturb the people listening at home by going into detail about Benito Mussolini's death. Yeah, he did not. He did not die peacefully, to say the least.
And we have a lot of people because he's got the Facebook thing going on now still. So I mean, you can always go back and type in, go on YouTube and type in Middleboro Review and catch the show. You know what I mean?
Oh really? Okay. Oh nice. I looked up the schedule of this station online. You got this Tony Branch is in here.
You know Tony?
I know who he is. He's the pastor in Brockton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bishop. Tony.
Bishop.
Yeah. Bishop. I'm sorry.
So he's a bishop, like he's a little bishop.
Yeah. Well, he's been involved in a lot of scandals recently.
Oh really?
You guys have been aware, yeah. He's on the Southeast School Board Committee. You guys know who Turtle Boy is?
I've heard him.
Yeah, he's involved in that. He's involved in the scandal with Turtle Boy.
Well, actually, we were on his show last week. You know what I mean?
You were on his show?
Yeah, on
really?
Heads, yeah.
Does he do it from here?
Yeah, they come in live,
Yeah, he does it new from here, right? Sundays.
Yeah, Sunday, 12 o'clock, yeah.
I noticed on Monday it's all like New York Times News Hour, then the Time Magazine News Hour on the station.
Right.
So he uses different, what did he just pay for different companies to?
Well, what time are you looking at there?
Chico. Just the Monday schedule, I saw.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have our regular program, and then we have the, what do they call it?
We have the Morning Wake Up News, which is a regular kind of morning news segment, which is 7 to 9, and then we have our Morning Wake Up show that we do every Monday through Friday as well. That's from usually 9 to 11, sometimes 9 to 12. Depends on the day.
A lot of those can be the talking information thing too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then sometimes we have an extra show
like a 24/7 thing. Because by law you have to have an ID at the top of the hour.
Really?
Station. Yeah.
Oh,
That's why you run it. So when the talking information thing goes down, we got to come in here and run like classical music, and at 12 o'clock the thing comes on for it's federal law. You have to have an ID.
I didn't know.
At the top of the hour.
I think it's been federal law forever.
Yeah.
It's been federal laws.
So I mean, they're like
beginning of radio.
So the talking is like the on-call operator in a way. If you think about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
They run everything because technically your practice is never closed.
Yeah,
always open. Your phone doesn't go to always picks up your phone.
Yeah,
it's the same thing here. It's the same kind of deal here. Yeah.
So you can turn on the radio at any time and there'll be something on.
Yeah. But the live programming here, you know, it's limited. It's mostly mornings.
Right.
I mean, he runs to 1 sometimes, but you know, we're getting a new sports show. We're starting to get the pandemic ruined everything.
Yeah.
You know?
The pandemic definitely
ruined everything.
cut us down at the knees.
Hurt my
a little
business.
bit,
It hurt this business. You know what I mean?
everything,
It
I
stressed
know.
everyone out. Got everyone sick. It wasn't fun.
It sucked, I know.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yellow mic, red mic, blue mic.
This is your theme.
Yeah, yeah, I like this thing. Here you go. 3, 2, 1, and 0. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. It is April 28th, 2024. What a interesting couple of days for our pro sports teams. Of course, the Patriots had the draft this week, Thursday to Saturday, which turned out pretty good. From what I'm hearing, turned out really well. We drafted a quarterback, which I expected them to do. You know, maybe some people don't like the quarterback that we drafted, but it's fine. You know, the quarterback we drafted.
Well, he's
you know,
a standing guy. He's a standy, right?
He's going to be the stand-in guy for a while. He's going to be sitting on the bench, I think, for at least a year, maybe 2.
Well, you know, you'll see him play.
You'll see him play
The first 3 games.
You'll see him play in the preseason for sure, but he's not going to be a regular starter for a little bit.
Unless he's unbelievable.
Unless he's unbelievable in the preseason. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
But he'll learn under Jacoby Brissett, who's a very great quarterback. You know, I would have liked to see him learn under.
Now, did you tell me
under
yesterday? And I'm not
somebody
trying-
like you know, Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's not available right now.
I think you told me yesterday. I don't want to throw Bill Belichick under the bus, but you said he was kind of, you know, the new coach. He wasn't really too enthusiastic about the new Patriots coach.
No, I think.
Why would he do that? What?
I think the problem with Bill Belichick is he's bitter with how things ended here.
So he's got a big fat paycheck. What do you think?
So he's taking it out on the Patriots. That's what.
I'd be happy if I was Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
he just signed a contract for Nesson, right? Or
No, ESPN.
ESPN,
He just signed a massive contract with ESPN to kind of be the third wheel when it comes to the Manning cast.
The Ugg guy.
The guy who just sits there and kind of, you know.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
and
big man.
it gives his 2 cents every once in a while.
And the dirty look. All right. Well.
I mean, well, for that, I mean, he's getting paid very well.
Right.
So
it's funny too
that's
because
interesting.
you know it always gave Ed McMahon. You know, we're talking about off Jay Leno or whatever, and Ed McMahon was always with Johnny Carson. That guy was a war hero. That guy was a Marine. He was in the Pacific.
Ed McMahon?
Ed McMahon was
Did not know that.
Ed McMahon was a war hero.
Did not know that.
He was the man. He was the, you know what I mean? He was the best. You know what I mean? So it's funny, you know, because they say other people too, who were in Hollywood, like in the 30s. You never thought that there'd be, like I think it's Sherwood something. He was Boss Hogg on Dukes of Hazzard. This guy was like a Green Beret, and Lee Marvin,
Wow.
Charles Bronson, all these people were in World War II, and they were highly decorated. And now you look at some of the actors that are out there now, mostly actors, you know, who were in the military, and you know, you just look back at that golden age, and they
Not
were
the same.
and they played the roles, and you know what? In my opinion, they deserve those roles because they played them in real life.
Yeah.
Lee Marvin, it's funny, you know, I could be going back and watching like the old Dick Cavett shows and Johnny Carson shows from the 70s and early 80s, and you learn a lot because it's just like, there's nothing really, I'm not talking about a lot of the actors, but there's nothing really to put your arm around and hug as far as, you know, somebody you can admire anymore. That's been out the window. I mean, that's That's like broken. That's like a piece of bad furniture that you bought and it broke 2 days after you put it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
True.
You know,
True.
So, yeah.
True.
So the draft went well, from what I've heard from Patriots fans out there.
We had to look at Roger though.
Yeah,
Really?
he got booed every time. He got booed every time.
What's
he
that
went
tell
there.
you?
Yeah,
Every time he
People
walks
don't
out,
like
he gets booed. You know, it's just like you gotta keep out, see smiling.
people don't like him. I would really like to see. She has had interest in trying to go for this particular, and it would be interesting to see her in this role. But Condoleezza Rice was interested in becoming NFL commissioner at one point.
Really?
That would have been interesting.
Really? Wow.
Well, they're all going that way. Look at Marty Walsh. Look at
Marty Walsh and also
Charlie Baker.
Charlie Baker.
They got out of politics
All
altogether.
all out of politics and then in sports now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Condoleezza Rice, I was apparently interested as well
Wow.
at one point of becoming an NFL commissioner. That would have been interesting to see. That would have been cool. But,
Jeez,
you know, we're stuck with Goodell, and you know what? It's okay. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. I don't have any.
At this point, I don't care.
I don't have anything personally against him. He's just the guy to hate, I guess.
I mean, he's just there. You know, he's just there. You know,
You know what I mean?
whatever.
He's like Georgie in The Sopranos. Everyone's about to-
Oh, he kept getting beat on.
Yeah,
yes, the bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2024 Mr. Irrelevant this year, which sometimes ends up being a really good pick for the team that picks at this spot. The 257th draft pick of the NFL draft. The 2024 Mr. Irrelevant this year was Jalen Key, safety out of Alabama, drafted to the New York Jets. So the Jets apparently had a pretty good draft too. They did a good job.
I noticed you got a Eagles hat on.
No, this is Iowa Hawkeyes.
The Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
speaking of that, one name in sports of this year is Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark, yes.
Holy, what, I mean, I think she's amazing. I mean, she's really brought the female sports to a whole new level. You know, I mean, I love Iowa.
Do you have a different hat every time you come in there, another sports hat? Because I thought last time you had a different hat on.
I might have.
You have how many hats do you have?
I have a wide variety of hats.
Iowa's
It's
highest.
gonna be just that hat next time he comes.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
The Iowa Hawkeyes' highest draft pick this year did actually go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Cooper DeJean, center back out of Iowa, of course, picked 40th in the draft in the second round. So, yeah, shout out to that. One of the coolest names I heard in the entire draft this year is Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's one of the coolest names I've ever heard in a draft class.
That can't be his real name.
That's Kool-Aid McKinstry, yeah. Well, that's his nickname. Kool-Aid is his nickname.
Yeah.
It's JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's his actual name.
All right, I get it.
His nickname is Kool-Aid. He was drafted to the Saints. So defensive back to the Saints.
Yeah.
Very, very good pick there. He played in Alabama. A lot of great players coming out of Alabama this year, and see what happens with Alabama post Nick Saban era. But
Yeah.
I think players will still continue to get drafted pretty high up there in Alabama post Nick Saban era. I don't think just because Nick Saban is gone, that means Alabama becomes a bad team. They're still very good.
Greensboro, Alabama.
Celtics had a good night last night. They won by 20 points. They now have a 2-1 series lead over Miami. Boston is now 1 game away from moving on to the next round. They defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1, which great, good. That's what we want. They're up 3-1. They go back to Boston, and they'll probably most likely finish the series in Boston at Game 5, and they'll move on to the next round. The worst team out of every one of these teams I'm talking about. Oh, and the Red Sox, 17-0 victory.
Wow.
Over the Chicago Cubs, 17-0.
Wow.
Huge win for the Red Sox. Red Sox are kind of weird this year. They got a couple of games where they played very poorly, and then they have a game like yesterday afternoon.
Were they in Chicago or Boston?
They were in Chicago. Yeah.
Well, at least the Cubs won one series. They won one. I mean, the one and only. I mean, we're gonna be here for 500 years, and that's the only one they gotta have, and they got it. And
Chicago is interesting.
They can go back to losing again, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
Well, they're interesting. They're kind of in the middle of the standings right now. So.
But how do you lose 17-0? It's just.
It happens. It definitely happens. And then the worst team out of the bunch, unfortunately, was the New England Revolution. That's just kind of been the thing this year. Is the New England Revolution have played very terribly. They didn't play that bad last night, but that last 30 minutes of the game was a total disaster. An absolutely total disaster.
Well, you said everyone went to that game just to see the other player, right?
Yeah, I don't think there was one. Okay, there was probably several fans.
See, I do listen to it.
There were several fans out there that were probably going there just to see the New England Revolution. But the vast majority were there to see one player and one player only, and that was Lionel Messi. That was it. That's why they were there. And that's why 65,312 people showed up. And that is a record for Gillette Stadium. That is a record for the New England Revolution.
Yeah, that's a lot for soccer, huh?
That is a huge amount for soccer. That attendance number.
But a lot of those people aren't from New England. They're from everywhere else.
No.
I mean, people as far as
a lot of them are from Miami. That attendance record number, 65,312, I believe it was the highest number that Gillette Stadium has seen in a while, number one, and especially for soccer. But it is the highest attendance number it's seen when it comes to the New England Patriots games. They don't compare. Well, they're close, but none of the home games in 2023 were near that.
Yeah, but I think that's a one and done because of that.
It is gonna. Well, yeah. It's gonna be a one and done.
And then there's gonna be tumbleweeds floating around there next. Yeah.
And I don't think the game did its job.
Yeah.
Bringing new fans to the sport because it was bad.
So you said blood drives. What do you got?
Yeah. So that's your sports segment. That's pretty much everything there. I just wanted to kind of go over that. I hadn't done an actual sports segment on this show in quite a while, so I wanted to make sure a little bit of the sports. All right, our blood drives. We have a couple in May. We have coming up on May 4th. We have a blood drive at the high school in Taunton. Let me quickly get that up really quick. I have it.
High school in Taunton?
Yeah.
That's new, isn't it?
High school in Taunton. Yes, we do. We have a blood drive coming up in Taunton.
Churches and
we have hosted by the THS Interact Club, Saturday, May the 4th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The main lobby, the Taunton High School, which is located at 50 William Street. We have a blood drive coming up. You go to www.redcrossblood.org. Type in either the Taunton zip code or maybe even THS in order to find this blood drive and sign up for it. It's going to be a big one. We've been running a promo, a PSA on it as well in the past.
I would like to add too, there is a shortage of blood since the COVID pandemic, so it's greatly appreciated.
Yes, and our other blood drives that we have coming up in the month of May 2024. that we're going to be going into here. Thursday, May 16th at the Rosebrook Event Center, 50 Rosebrook Place, number 1 in Wareham, 1 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Friday, May 17th at the Wareham Council on Aging. So we have 2 coming up in Wareham back-to-back days. Friday, May 17th, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. That is the Council on Aging in Wareham. And we have one in Raynham coming up, Saturday, May 18th, 2024, Raynham Lions Club, 2234 Kingsborough Street in Raynham, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for that blood drive. So we have quite a few blood drives coming up over the next couple of weeks here. And also what I heard as well, and this came into effect in October of 2022, I believe it was the new guidelines on mad cow disease and how people with that, who were exposed to that, can now give blood in some certain situations. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know. I'm not aware of that offhand, but there may be something new. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some new guidelines on that.
I mean, went back to the 80s. If you spent time in England or whatever, then I guess there was a problem there. But I think, they figured it out. So,
Yeah, they figured it out.
Well, mad cow disease is it's actually a prion, which is not even a virus. It's something that's transmitted, and it can be contracted through meat and blood products. So I think they're screening blood now for that, where they didn't do that before, is my guess.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, they're probably screening for that. So.
So that's how you contaminate the blood supply, right?
Potentially.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Could now give blood and then they screen it. I guess that's what is going on there.
Yeah, well, it was just a blanket prohibition before.
Yeah, it was a blanket prohibition before. No one who was involved or who had it or potentially could have it could give blood.
Yeah, it's important that you say that because a lot of people serve go in England and whatever, because they're like, oh, I can't do it because of this, that, and the other thing. But now that you mentioned that,
but now that you can now, right? Because there is now a new guideline on that. We have an event coming up in Taunton. I want to make sure I talk about before we take our last commercial break here. We have the Taunton Civic Chorus. The Taunton Civic Chorus was here yesterday, talking with Barry Sanders and Carol Doherty. A couple of members of the Taunton Civic Chorus were here. They have an event coming up. They have their next concert coming up. The Taunton Civic Chorus presents Dreams, May 5th, 2024 at 4 p.m. Chris Hoskins is music director. Jameson J.J. Ward accompanies, and it is also the assistant music director. It'll feature works from Phillips, Lipa, Lennox, and Stewart, Darian and Lehigh, Nix, Hoskins, and more. Admission will be $15 for adults, $12 for seniors and students, and children under 12 and under. This is going to be at the McCarty Theater at the former Coyle and Cassidy High School at 2 Hamilton Street, and that is in Taunton, Massachusetts. So, coming up, the Taunton Civic Chorus presents Dreams, May 5th, 2024 at 4 p.m. All right, let's take our last commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about, I want to talk about mosquitoes, because apparently I want to talk about mosquitoes.
Well, let's talk to Ed.
Yes,
okay.
I want to talk about mosquitoes next.
Okay.
Because I heard something about May potentially being a big month for those.
Right.
So we'll talk about that here. When we come back here from our commercial break, this is Middleboro in Review. I'm Joey Driscoll, joined by Don and joined by Ed Fischero as well. We'll be right back here on WVBF 1530 AM 99.7 FM.
Sure.
What, mad cow disease?
Transfusion stuff. Yeah, I don't know what they do with that.
Yeah, there's new guidelines on it.
There it is.
From what I heard.
Well, it's good to know.
That
A lot
was
of people maybe
October
wouldn't know.
2022.
You know?
That's when that got
Yeah.
put into.
It says they're screening using geographic history.
Okay.
That was going on since the 80s. I mean, you're talking, mid 80s, actually early 80s. I heard that. So you're talking 30-something years. It was a blanket prohibition on that. They probably needed it after they probably needed it after the pandemic. Everyone was so sick.
I guess I don't know, it just says,
Paul of Sacred Heart Church in Middleboro serves the residents of the towns of Middleboro, Lakeville. Yeah, so my guess is that they're now.
says the blood donor ban, actually the opposite. They're saying they used to ban you from donating blood if you had mad cow, and they just lifted the ban.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because they were banning it. Yeah. Like if you had it, or if you were potentially susceptible to it, or if you were there,
Right.
In Britain, yeah, you could not give blood. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing anything different on that, but I guess they listed the ban. There was something about homosexual stuff too. Well, I'm not gonna bring that up.
Right.
But they used to ban it if you had like so many partners, if you were homosexual.
Oh,
To
really?
donate, but they changed that recently too. Yeah.
Was that recently, or
Yeah,
was
well,
that when
recently
AIDS was going?
when AIDS was going, they used to ban you from. I mean, you couldn't donate blood if you listed yourself as homosexual. You had so many. Then they said, okay, if you're homosexual, you can donate, but if you had so many partners,
Yeah.
you couldn't. Then they banned it all. They said, you can donate blood no matter what. They just checked the blood for that, But I don't even want to go there on the radio.
No.
The demand increases every week.
But anyways, yeah, I was gonna, Caitlin Clark, man, I love her. You guys know who she is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's
Yeah.
America's sweetheart.
A lot of people over there.
She is the best. She gives her shoes to a little girl in the audience after every game. She takes off her shoes, signs them, and gives them to a little girl.
Really?
She picks out a little girl in the audience, yeah.
Hey, she's one of these people too that doesn't want the spotlight all the time.
No.
Yeah, she was at a game. She was at Indiana Pacers game.
Alright.
She had the cameras all over her.
We got 13 minutes to talk about health.
She kind of seemed like she was uncomfortable with all of that,
Yeah.
because she doesn't want the spotlight.
I love her. I think she's awesome.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and 0, and we're back here on Middleboro in review. I am Joey Driscoll, joined by Don, joined by Dr. Ed Fischero out of Brockton. And before the break, we talked about mosquito season starting up. It'll be, it looks like it's going to be a big one when it comes to the month of May. And all the rain we got as well might have something to do with it. Mosquitoes are universally understood to be a major downside of spring. That's the understatement of the year.
You got West Nile too.
Yes.
Ed, have you seen any of that come through your office? People with West Nile and whatnot?
I not this year. Over my career, I've seen Triple E. I've seen some other mosquito transport illnesses.
What was the symptoms that the patients had and coming in complaining about, and probably not even knowing they had it?
Well, a lot of times the generalized viral syndrome, like fever, malaise. It's hard because it's so rare that a lot of doctors mistake it for a common viral infection. you know, and that's one of the last things. And when people go to the doctor, you look for common things. When someone comes in with generalized fatigue and fevers, you often check or treat for the basic things first, and if somebody doesn't get better, then you start looking for the unusual things. I mean, it's not common. I mean, like I said, over my career, I've probably seen a handful of those cases, but it's always it's always something you should keep in the back of your mind. You know, unfortunately, viral things don't have a lot of treatment options. A lot of the drugs they use are not as effective as antibiotics, and a lot of times people have to be hospitalized. A lot of times these illnesses can cause encephalitis, which means infection and swelling of the brain. So a lot of times the symptoms can be those neurologic symptoms like confusion, grogginess, lethargy, and of course infectious symptoms like fever, rash, muscle and joint aches, stuff like that.
Standing water, like you said too, we have so much rain in swampy areas. It's always good to, if you have water, like old barrels and stuff like that, flip them over. Just get rid of them. That's where you gotta get the swampy areas. You go for a hike, especially now. If I mean, hiking anywhere in the woods now, you got to be subject to that because of all the rain, and especially at like early like the evenings. That's where they eat you.
Yeah, in a lot of swampy areas, the water level is abnormally high right now because of all the rain we get.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing that really works is spraying for mosquitoes. I know a lot of landscapers will offer that, and it does markedly decrease the amount of mosquitoes on that property if you spray, you know. And the other thing too is just with the summer coming, Lyme disease is huge.
I was talk about that actually. Like ticks.
Yep.
There is no such thing as a good mosquito season. So no such thing as good.
And ticks aren't your friend.
No, ticks aren't your friend either. Lyme disease is a very aggressive, very bad thing to get.
It's hard to diagnose because, again, a lot of people don't go to the doctor and say, "Doc, I got Lyme disease." They walk in and say, "I don't feel well." And, you know, a lot of times it's mistaken for a common respiratory illness or.
And then here comes the question: you got to ask, have you been anywhere near? Have you been in the woods? It's just like it's always good if you do go to the doctor. In my opinion, kind of have an idea of what to talk to the doctor. The doctor ain't Jim Rockford. You know what I mean? He needs to diagnose you and move on. You know what I mean? So whatever information you can get, you know, tell him out front. I think, in my opinion, you know, because he's going to ask you, and he's going to pry. He's going to all these scenarios. But I mean, as far as forthcoming information, that make things a little easier for you. I think, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, sure.
Don't lie to your doctor.
Thank you, Don.
According to Sam Telford, professor of infectious diseases and global health at Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine at Tufts University in North Grafton, unfortunately, this year is going to be categorized as very bad. This year will be tremendous for mosquitoes, said Telford, as it warms up with all the standing water. Again, we were just talking about that. There will be a huge emergence in May, which is right around the corner. April showers might bring May flowers, but it also leaves a deal of great standing water, which means a number of ready-made mosquito nurseries.
Well, the best thing to do is if you're out working, even if it's a little hot, you know, put jeans on, put a shirt on, wear a hat, check your head for for ticks and and just try to remember that. Don't go out in your shorts and you're running around. I know everyone likes to wear shorts, but sometimes when you go out, plus in a safety perspective, working on the yard, I think jeans, something that can protect you is better than that. I see people out there with flip flops cutting their grass. Sometimes it's just like, okay, you know what I mean?
That's just check. The tick has to be on for a long time to transmit Lyme disease. You know, many hours. So I mean, you know, I think after you're outside, just check yourself, take a shower, and have someone look at your back too. You know,
right. Especially if you're out there working, everyone's been starting to spring work. I was cutting the grass for 4 hours yesterday. I checked myself right at the end of the day. I was on the tractor for 4 hours, and I checked myself big time. I always go through my hair because that's where the hide is through your hair. Switching gears, Ed, I want to ask you a quick question, and it's something that I think plagues a lot of people who especially me. I work for an oil company. I drive, and it's the diet thing as far as trying to eat good. I have a friend of mine who's been doing really good on his diet, and he's been an inspiration for me because he's been at the pool. You get in the pool, and he tries to eat good, and he's just really doing. He lost a lot of weight, and I'm really proud of him. But he worries about me, saying, it's got to be something you can have to eat, but there really isn't anything out there, nothing. And you need energy to eat, and this. I know what you're gonna say, okay, because doctors have to say the right thing. You should eat another thing, but is that simple? Sometimes, as far as know what I mean. I'm not. It's just. I think a lot of people get themselves in a jam and they don't eat healthy just because there's no options.
Well, I personally think we grew up with certain foods in our diet, and then as we've become more evolved, we've found which foods are bad and which are good. So I think that there was a time when my parents were little, steak and eggs was a healthy breakfast, but now we know that that's not good.
Right.
I just think you have to taper your taste to foods that are more healthy. You can prepare foods in different ways that taste good. You can try to have healthy foods, and you just make a decision to have healthy foods in your diet and prepare them the best you can. I would just, the cookies and candies, I would just avoid. They're just needless calories. It's like a drug. It tastes good. It makes you feel good for a short time, but it damages your body long term. I would try to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, fibers, things with protein, lean meats, or
what about those shakes? What about those shakes? There's a lot of nutrition shakes out there.
Those are fine too. If you can't have the time or you're on the go and you don't have a balanced diet, I think those are a great substitute. And you absorb them too. You got to get a good product though. A lot of those products are not what they advertise. And
what about like Cheerios? Is Cheerios like a big waste?
Well, Cheerios has good and bad in it. Cheerios has fiber and a lot of those cereals are fortified with nutrients. And but they also have a fair amount of sugar. Cheerios has, let's face it, Cheerios does have some sugar in it. There are other cereals that are a lot healthier, but they're a lot worse. I think it's good to get fiber. I think it's good to get vitamins and nutrients, but you can certainly do that in a more healthy way than Cheerios. Although it's not the worst. You should exercise too and drink plenty of water. As you can tell from my physique, that I'm in good shape. I'm kidding, joking.
No, you're good.
But you should exercise. Do something for 20, 30
Well, you got
minutes.
some pipes here.
Thank you, Don.
I think you can take my lunch money before I move a little out of here.
On those?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's good to do some.
You must work out because you got some.
You know what's important as you get older is stretching. I think getting into stretching is really important as you get older. I think you should have 3 components to your life: diet, exercise, good sleep.
Good sleep.
Those are the 3.
A lot of people don't think of the sleep. And one thing you said to me years ago, and I try to the letter. I'm not saying I do it all the time, but I say I do it 80%, 90%. And then that 10% I do it, I'm thinking, my wife would say, well, Dr. Ed wouldn't like that. I was like, oh, I know. But kitchen closes at 8.
Yeah. That's
kitchen closes at 8.
That's one of my sayings.
That's what he said to me. Kitchen closes at 8.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat late at night. That's real bad. Real bad.
That's it. Just simple. Kitchen closes at 8.
Yeah, you just don't.
Well, what if I'm hungry? Well, there's always the next day.
That's right.
And I believe in that.
That's something I've yet to learn. That's something I will say.
That's how you're gonna have a talking to soon. Okay? Like in the mob, give them a talking to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ate at midnight last night, so.
No late night eating. No cookies and candies. Keep the carbs to small amounts. Those are my rules.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, with that, we're done for the hour here. I want to thank Ed for coming in and talking with us.
Patiently waiting while you went through it and make him wait. I didn't think he'd ever get on.
Oh,
Hope he
You
comes
know,
back. You coming back?
Of course, I love hanging with you guys.
yeah.
Anytime. It's early, but that's all right.
You know?
Don,
Yes.
thank you again.
Oh, well, hey, you know?
We have a great guest next week, Chuck Hart. He'll be coming in.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's
And
gonna
then
be
who
fun.
else? We got
We have
coming up?
Ezekiel Lewis the following week
All right.
on Mother's Day, so it's coming up as well.
And who do we got after that? You trying to get somebody? Who you trying to-
We might have Louis Laura on soon.
Yeah.
We might have either he's going to be on this show or he's going to be on Middleboro Matters. I will not know that exactly until after
Right.
May 8th.
I'm going to be out of the office on the weekend of the 16th. I'm going down to visit my sister down in Florida, so either gotta have send you a cash money, send you one of my hoodlum friends to help you.
Whatever you want to do, Don.
It's up to you.
That's fine with me. Whatever you want to
Maybe
do, that's
call,
fine
maybe
with
call,
me.
maybe have Eric come in.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
call
Well,
Eric.
speaking of Eric, could be coming in on this upcoming Middleboro Matters on this Thursday upcoming. So
Yeah.
I'll be talking.
Just
a lot
don't give
of-
Eric any coffee.
Yeah.
That's all.
We'll be talking a lot about some good things with Eric on Thursday. And I want to thank everyone for listening to today's Middleboro Review. We'll be back next week for the May 4th edition, I think.
Yeah, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
May 4th, 2024. Until then, have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. Bye-bye.
Wait. Sorry about the mad cow thing. I just didn't.
No, that was all right.
But
Throw you under the bus every time, you know what I mean? I love it.
Yeah,
that was a good
We
segment.
wanted to make
You know
sure.
what I mean?
I wanted to make sure I talked about that because that was something that
hey,
was.
if he comes back, give him a little more airtime.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
We did all right.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it was a good way to blend you in because it's just you gotta get you comfortable. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
You gotta get you
absolutely,
comfortable.
yeah.
And I think the questions were good as far as going into the mosquitoes, the tick disease,
Yep.
because that's all relevant. But
Because it's gonna be relevant real fast.
yeah, the diet thing. So.
Was that okay? Did I talk
Oh,
too
yeah,
much?
no, you're
No,
fine.
no, I was kind of giving him the the
no,
eyeball because
no.
he didn't.
Well,
You kind of made him wait a little
the
bit.
way I
You
do
don't
my
make him
show.
wait. He's gonna freak
No,
out.
well, the way I do my show is I have a lot of things I gotta.
Yeah, but
gotta
I
try to
mean,
balance.
but you can't. But again, you can't leave the guest for
I
dead.
did not.
You're all right.
Come on, I did not.
If I just give you a signal.
No, you were good. You were fine. You're fine.
Oh, well, thanks, guys.
Hi,
everybody.